All right, welcome back to our speed chess speed run. We're playing rapid chess, currently rated 1407, and hoping to pick up another win today. Playing against Leo Garavito from Venezuela, Colombia. So he starts with a g3 and then bishop g2. Chess.com calls it the King's Fianchetto opening. And I think we're just going to take some space in the center for now and look to play just a super solid opening. So bishop d6, we're going to play pawn c6. We'll get our knight out, castle, and hopefully play a good game here. All right, he immediately trades the bishop for the knight, which isn't typically great. But not a serious mistake at all. Okay, so now I want to get my knight out to d7, but might make sense to develop my bishop first. I'm gonna play bishop here. Okay, and he immediately starts to target this pawn, which is a reasonable and good move by our opponent. Actually considering dropping my queen back to defend, and that seems fine to me. Okay, he pushes. Initial instinct is definitely to lock up the center. That opens up the scope of my bishop, kicks out the knight, and then his bishop's going to be terrible. So now I want to look at how I might be able to generate an attack on the king side here. I have lots of pieces pointed in that direction. I don't want to play knight d7 yet because that would lose this pawn. Definitely looking at a move like f5, which I think I'm going to go for with the plan of simply pushing f4, which our opponent kind of thwarts with playing e3, so I can play a move like g5, preparing that move still. And I think I'm just much more active on this side of the board, so I think I can just go for it. Definitely weakening my king, so this will be an interesting idea to look back at to see if it works, or see if the computer agrees with my plan here. But yeah, it's go time. All right, and I could look to open it, or I could look to put his bishop in jail. I'm gonna take a minute to look at this because I do want to open things up over here. Maybe I go there. You could trade. But putting his bishop in jail also looks good. This is definitely a critical moment that we'll look at in the post-game analysis. What's better here, f3 or f takes g3? Or maybe it's just doing nothing for now. I could also play a move like queen to g5. Play there, that drops the pawn. I'm not particularly worried about that pawn, but probably shouldn't just lose it, just to lose it. Okay, we're gonna go for f3. Let's lock the bishop away. It's in jail and doesn't really have a way to get out without him sacrificing something. So we can probably just play this game normally, and he'll just essentially be down a bishop. He has two moves. One loses it right away. The other, he'll probably have to sacrifice at some point to open things up. And our opponent looks like he has disconnected, so hopefully he comes back. Don't want to win the game on resignation, but I do think we have a pretty dominant position. I think this is an interesting game for kind of breaking some normal chess principles. I had to play the move g5 to prepare f4, and normally you don't want to push your pawns around your king, but in this position I had much more attacking potential on the king side. He had pieces over on this side, and they weren't really doing a whole lot, so was able to get away with it. Let's go ahead and review the game just to make sure that was in fact a good move and I was carrying out the right plan. But yeah, so it says 96% accuracy, so definitely one of our best games, and actually it looks like it was nearly a perfect game. No inaccuracies, mistakes, misses, or blunders. So my worst moves were still considered to be good moves, although it was a pretty short game, so wouldn't worry too much about the accuracy. And let's look at it. Okay, taking the center is good. This is one of the two moves that was good. It prefers immediately kicking out the knight. That makes a lot of sense. Just sample line, he jumps in the middle. Okay, and then immediately continuing to bounce the knight around seems to be the plan. If he goes back to b3. Okay, immediately going back for it. This is actually interesting. I would think that would be bad. And then bishop c5. Just continuing to make him move this piece a million times. And actually, that almost just... Is his knight trapped? Knight c3. Oh, pawn c3 is what he can play here. If he goes there, does it get trapped? He can go queen b6. Yeah, and then that's big trouble because he can draw it back, but I'm going to win that pawn. So, okay. Good to know. This was reasonable though, defending that pawn. This is all good. Actually interesting, just side note, typically you don't want to trade bishop for knight, but it does say that's the best move for our opponent in that position, so good on him for finding that. This was all good. Queen back to e7 was a good move to defend that pawn on b7. Pushing it would have weakened up my queen side a bit, so didn't want to do that. Okay, pushing, and then that's a good plan. And then g5, it does say it's a good move, not the best move. What would the best move have been? Okay, so it didn't have a problem in this position with sacrificing the pawn. Let's just sample that line. I can go here. He can take another pawn. Knight b6, queen back, knight c4, queen a4. This is a long line. Would have been hard to see all this. We take, he brings his queen back, and down a pawn, but I guess I'm just doing really well here. I have a lot of activity. Okay, so losing that pawn wouldn't have been the end of the world. I wanted to leave things locked though. I also won the game of Connect 4 if that's what we were playing, so I didn't want to ruin my Connect 4 there. And then, okay, here's a critical moment. It was deciding between f takes g3 and f3. Okay, and that was an excellent move, so probably made the right decision there. I'm just curious what the computer thinks. So, okay, it gave 3 moves, knight a, so knight a6 was one of the moves, knight d7 was one of the moves, and then king to h8 was also an idea to begin to put pressure up here. This move roughly as good as all those as well, keep a solid advantage. If I would have gone for this, I do lose a bit of the advantage, so good to know that would have been a mistake. Glad to see that f3 was the right plan there. And just to give you a sample line of how this could have gone, he drops his bishop back. Now that bishop's out of the game, I can immediately go for this move, and he's going to lose at least the exchange. He can play for something like this. I take, he takes, and I'm just doing really well. His king's also not in the best position, so d takes, queen takes, and then yeah, we get our king out of the way. Would still have to be careful because my king is fairly exposed since I'd pushed the pawns in front of it, but think would have been doing all right there. So that will do it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed.